or a fifth element hospitality. We have so over to you, Ajay. And I look forward to a very interesting discussion.
Thank you so much, Mini.
Thank you, Mini.
It's great to have these three gentlemen here. This is like, starting a new exploration, a new chapter in the culinary history, at least of India. And I'll just kick started by using something which Peter Drucker is very famous for saying that at the most basic level, business is really two things: innovation and marketing. And I truly believe that these three gentlemen are now at the forefront of innovation. I don't think cloud kitchens need any introduction. Everybody is quite familiar with the term, whether it's people who are attending the webinar or anybody else. So we'll just dive straight into what's happening here. And can I request Vicky to just introduce yourself one by one? Vicky, Sumit, and then Rajiv.
Sure. Hi, I'm Vicky, aka Amandeep Singh. We're the founders of Smart Co Kitchens. We are, as you know, cloud kitchen provider based out of Mumbai, and we're about to go live with our first facility in the next 12 to 14 days. We had a bit of a setback in terms of the project itself because of COVID, but it panned out well, I think. And let's see how we do it.
Sumit.
I've been a restaurateur all my life, typically, traditionally
Okay,
been a
great.
restaurateur. I
That's
opened my
wonderful.
first restaurant in '99, all the way up to
Wow.
2016. And I thought that it was time, like in my entire journey, I think the landlords are the ones who had the most fun. So I thought, let us these learnings and try to actually work for the industry, because I would like to believe I have a little bit of an insight in terms of
Mhm,
what an operator
mhm.
requires and how they require it. So really here, this is my give back to my colleagues in the industry who I feel struggling every time they want to capitalize on the IP they have created. They need to access a new geography. They need to spend a lot of money. And I think that's kind of going forward is kind of regressive. An organization
Right.
that creates its IP should focus on creating its IP and executing the IP rather than managing the frills that come associated with it, because it does take up a lot of bandwidth.
Correct.
Yep,
Correct.
and that's us in a nutshell.
Thanks, Vicky. Sumit, could you just let us know a little bit and everybody who's listening in?
Yes, I think. Am I audible now?
Yes, Sumit, absolutely.
Perfect. So, hi guys. It's really a pleasure being with you all here at this platform. My name is Sumit, and me, Swapnil, and me, we started with a co-working cloud kitchen concept back in 2017, August 2017, when we were actually into selling food ourselves on Swiggy and Zomato platform. So, we went through a lot of processes and identified few shortcomings where people were finding it difficult. So we thought of coming up with this concept where we can provide,
Sumit, could you be a little
shared
louder,
cloud kitchen
please?
model.
A little louder, Sumit, please.
Sure.
Thanks.
Sure. So the idea was very simple. We wanted to solve one problem at a time, and while doing business ourselves, we were into a cloud kitchen with the name of Bon Eats. And we went through certain challenges. We faced those challenges ourselves, and we realized there are certain bottlenecks that is plaguing the industry. So we started from the very first thing, which is infrastructure, heavy capex, and the mortality ratio in industry was very high, more than 70% for the first 18 months. So we thought of all these challenges, and we kind of vetted it with the veterans in the industry and with the budding entrepreneurs and with the people who are already working in the industry. And we realized that there is a huge gap in this segment where we can try and innovate something and
Okay.
provide some value. So that's how Food Co-work started. It's a very simple shared co-working cloud kitchen model. We already have 3 locations live in Mumbai with 6 kitchens, and we are launching 4 more kitchens in the next couple of months. So
Right.
yes,
So we'll
that's all about us.
That's wonderful, Sumit. We'll get into details, of course. Rajiv.
Sure.
So, so we're going to be obviously talking about the two big food aggregators, and they've already explored this entire landscape, which three of you are now either into for some time or getting into. So, what do you think? Why do you still feel there is an opportunity when the two, so to say, big guys have kind of vacated it? I think we are very clear about it. They are vacating it. Sumit, would you like to answer that first?
Me?
Sure. I mean, I have my own views, having gone through their analogies, having understood their mechanism, and talking to a lot of brands who had also partnered with them. We realized one thing: Swiggy and Zomato had their own approach towards all these brands. They had Swiggy was filling in the cuisine gap in the market. Zomato was primarily focusing on the expansion of the bigger brands. So, of course, both these brands had a different approach towards doing the same thing, what we all ended up doing together. But
Right.
I look at it from the mass approach. I mean, there they were only talking about the creme de la creme of the market, trying to either fill in the cuisine gap or trying to expand the existing brands. But what about the masses? I mean, if we are talking about the 4 lakh crore Indian food service market, they hardly fill in the the top 2 or 3% of the entire market. What about the rest of the people, the budding entrepreneur? There are still,
So
in
that's
spite of
the
that
opportunity area that you
burning
see.
numbers, I mean, those mortality ratios.
That's the opportunity area you're seeing.
Absolutely. I mean, that's how we look at it. Yes.
Filling up the let me put it this way, the bottom of the
So, in
pyramid
spite of
more.
all these brands who are going away, yes,
Mhm.
yes, yes. So, even after, yes, why not? I mean, that's where
Okay.
the masses, that's where the market is, that's where the opportunity is.
Okay.
And in India, we are only talking about the unorganized market. I mean, it's the unorganized segment which is getting converted into organized segment, and that number is still huge, even in the QSR industry. So why not?
Fair enough.
Why not capture
Fair
them
enough,
at the
Sumit.
bottom line?
Vicky, what is your thought on what is your opportunity? How big do you think is it?
Well, see, fundamentally, I think Swiggy and Zomato, when they entered the business, they entered it firstly, it was not their core business. They entered as an add-on value, so add for what they fundamentally do, and they built it from an aggregator's
Sorry,
perspective.
Vicky. I think Zomato, I totally agree with you, but Swiggy entered into this as their core business, right?
No, no. I mean, essentially, they are both delivery and discovery platforms. That's what they
Yes,
fundamentally are.
yes,
So they are
yes.
kind of diversed into this whole kitchen and getting their own brands and stuff. But
Okay,
I think what
okay,
they missed out on the bottom, on the ground level, was they built like their platform. They have built it only
mhm,
to work for them. They have not built it to work
okay.
for the operators. The way the cost structures that they had put in there, as you can imagine, it was ridiculous. And another challenge, I think, was that as a brand owner, you're putting the same bandwidth when you access a new geography. If you're in a Swiggy kitchen, only Swiggy riders could come. If you're in a Zomato kitchen, only Zomato riders could come. Zomato eventually changed that, but their model also for the kitchen was fairly different. And I also think Swiggy missed the point. I mean, they were. They were signing up AAA buildings, like where their consulate general, those kind of spaces, to open a cloud kitchen. That doesn't make sense. I mean, you need to be servicing the same demographic, but you don't require to be in a like in a grade A commercial building, because that kind of goes against the fundamentals of working of a cloud kitchen. So I think there were many things, and I don't think their focus was to operate the business successfully as much as it was to roll them out, because
Okay.
in a very short
Okay.
span of time they rolled
So,
out to 24 cities, 90 facilities, 80, 70, 80 facilities. That's lots, as any of these guys, Rajiv will tell you, as will tell you, that's it's a big thing to put that sort of resource.
yeah, yeah,
uh,
absolutely. So, what is your opportunity area? What do you see as your opportunity area? That is what Swiggy
I mean, I
and
like to think
Zomato.
that
What are you
I firstly,
focusing
I
on?
like to think the opportunity area for all three of us is that we are democratic platform. Any rider, be it a Dunzo, be it a Amazon,
Okay,
be it
fair
a
enough.
Google.
Absolutely.
Well, because as a brand owner, you're putting in that same effort and time and money. Like, I mean, you need to be able to spread yourself across as many platforms as possible. Also, being from the industry, I like to think there are a couple of value add services that we provide, which actually works towards letting the brands optimize out of a cloud kitchen, because also a lot of brands don't know how to optimize out of a cloud kitchen. A lot of brands think that a cloud kitchen is just a shrunken down version of your bigger kitchen, but it's not only a real estate arbitrage.
Correct. It's
It
not.
is truly a labor
Totally.
arbitrage. I mean, the way I look at it is, you need to be able to have your back end systems in place where a guy on minimum wage can operate your unit. I did that. Like, my first job in hospitality and F&B in '92 was that. I mean, I worked in a Pizza Hut abroad. Like, it was a 600 square foot store, but as long as you had eyes and ears, you could operate that store. And till the brands don't, work towards getting their backend into place over there, they're not going to be truly going to be able to optimize. And I like to think that we'll be able to help them, to achieve some sort of scale, some sort of technique, some sort of systems in place in getting their backend more optimized towards supporting a cloud kitchen function. And there are some other services that we do offer, which I like to think.
We'll talk about that as we proceed further. Mini, I'm sure everybody who's listening into this webinar, there will be a lot of brands who would be keen to join hands with either one of these people that we have, the panelists, their companies. So you could probably put out messages to get in inquiries. So Sumit, what are the extra services that you are planning to kind of add on? Why food co-works, and why not still continue with whatever remains of Zomato and Swiggy? And I'll just take a minute out here to say that yes, Swiggy still continues to run its Access Kitchens, although in a very limited manner, and Zomato is kind of still making up its mind. Rajiv tells me
I think
otherwise.
Swiggy is only in Bangalore, though.
No, Swiggy is very much in Delhi as well. But I'm just giving you guys an idea that it's not totally like let's shut down the division. Absolutely. So anyways, coming back to it, Sumit, what are the extra services that you guys are going to kind of offer to people who come on board?
So definitely, apart from the infrastructure, we are trying to aggregate all the other value additions, mostly all the stakeholders which play a very key important role in any delivery kitchen or in any delivery services, not just the alternate channel of marketing, but also a very simple thing like giving them a pool of container suppliers or vegetable suppliers and helping them out with the digital marketing network. So these are the pool of services that we cater. We create a package all in one, not just the basic. Reducing capex is the very basic thing, which is already there by default. Now, once they have onboarded us, what is the moat that we are gonna give to them, which probably very few people can provide initially, and which can help them sustain. So the entire focus is on sustainability, and sustainability can only be achieved after an efficiency of operations is achieved. So, and it goes both for the existing players and for the budding entrepreneurs as well. So there is a lot to learn in the first 6 months of starting an operation, and that's where we play a very, very important role. We sit with the brands, we help understand their food cost. So we do the entire consulting aspect to it, which is definitely a package, in-house package as well. Then we also understand their cost structure. We also understand what is their marketing strategy, and then we talk about, it's a very stage-wise growth. So we just don't bombard with them from the day one that, hey, you know what, these are the packages you must take and you must do it. We actually sit down with them. We help the brands. We help them run the brands like it's our own, and that's the strategy. Which definitely these are some value addition features apart from the offerings which is already there. So we have tied up with a lot of container suppliers, grocery suppliers, the local vegetable suppliers, and we're trying to automate the entire process. So because our tech is still under process, we have not created a full stack solution yet, but we are trying to do that. So but that's the focus. Yes.
So great, that sounds good. Vicky already did, and you can tell us a little. But along with that, Vicky, I want to ask you that have you guys ever thought of a logistics option to Swiggy and Zomato, the riders, finally the last mile delivery, which is, I mean, core as well?
Ajay, I think Vicky is just dropped. Maybe you can continue and he'll join back.
Okay. So let's have you thought how Amazon may impact, given the kind of resources that they have, the kind of long-term planning. And my understanding of the Amazon business, one of the companies that I'm associated with is a trial partner with Amazon, and they seem to have scaled up tremendously in the last 1 month with Amazon in terms of volume of business. And they're tough negotiators, so I don't think the terms will be
Which
that
brand, sorry?
hard. So, I mean, have you guys thought about it, or let me say that right now the idea is simply to quickly first cut out the cake, kind of not cut properly by the two big aggregators, and then worry about anything else. Vicky, are you back?
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I'm
Would
back.
you like
Sorry,
to? Would you like
the
to? No
connection was
problem.
lost. A little bit, I'm an eternal optimist. This level of all, one can't expect Swiggy and Zomato to behave the
Of course.
operator's interest in mind. But I'm hoping Amazon would come in with a lower commission.
Okay.
Going to be able to no because in any much 6%.
Okay.
25 and I
Vicky, we seem to be having some trouble again with your audio. Hello.
hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now. So
Can you hear me?
let's go ahead. Let's take on from where you.
You're
No, I
hoping
think we're
or
still having. Vicky, your voice keeps kind of going up and
Coughing
down.
off.
I think would you like to
Okay.
try and re-log in again, possibly? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay, now your voice is fantastic. So, meanwhile, Sumit.
Is this better?
Okay, great. You're back. Vicky, yeah, you're sounding clear now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. So we're talking about Amazon, impact of Amazon. Have you thought about it? Or is it something to think about maybe, 6 months, 1 year into the future? Hello?
Yeah,
Hello,
Vicky
Vicky?
is
I think we lost
gone
it.
off the network again. I think you can continue with the others.
Okay, fair enough. So, Sumit, another question, and you were the one talking about, the so many other brands. What are the kind of brands do you wish to get into your kitchens? Any specific, what shall I say, labeling have you done, or have you created, kind of markers?
So I'll tell you basically, because when we started, our approach was very simple. We never wanted to be sector agnostic or brand agnostic, to be very honest. So the idea is very simple. When I'm providing a shared cloud kitchen concept, it has to be backed by certain data also. So I cannot go ahead imposing my ideology saying that this area is primarily meant for desserts. So let's have some desert guys. I should have some data saying some precedence saying that okay, this area sells biryani the most. I can't sell non-veg in Malad predominantly, or Goregaon, or areas, or Ghatkopar East. So there has to be some data. So whatever decisions that we
Okay.
take, it has to be backed by the number of data, and then the filtration of the brand also happens to a greater level. Obviously we do get a lot of inquiries every day, and not all of them get converted also. But then we also have to choose first, for one center or for one location. I would love to have a diversity of the brands also. That would
Okay.
help all the brands collectively. So, to put them on an online platform, and it would also give a diversified, uh, platter to all the customers. So, and then it should be backed by the data. What sells the most? What is the price point? There are n number of factors. I'm sure all these guys, they know it pretty well. When we onboard a brand, any brand, of course, so we do have to make sure that it fits in our data category. Otherwise, we can't blindly take any customer on board just because we need a customer. Then
So
we are
you started
actually,
defining those categories,
shutting.
I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. We've already done that. I
Okay.
mean, because I come from Tiny Owl and Food Panda background, so I have been fortunate enough to deal with that kind of, filtration. Yes.
Okay. And is there going to be some kind of sequencing in the cuisines? Are you going to make sure that if you have 8 or 10 what do you call units inside one kitchen, are you going to ensure that cuisines are not duplicated? Is it possible? Firstly, can you and are you interested in doing that?
We look at it from a different approach. I would say when I open Swiggy or Zomato online, I can see Chinese brands, the top 5 Chinese selling brands from in the same area. Now, to the customer, it doesn't matter whether they are coming from the same kitchen or they are coming from different geographies altogether.
Right.
So that is why we do not like to have any exclusivity of the brands under the same kitchen or under the same infrastructure. And this is the logic, and this is the data which only talks about itself rather than me trying to impose it. So I would say sequencing seems to be a very new concept to me at this point of time, to be very honest. I'm not sure what other panelists may have an opinion about it, but we haven't experienced anything as such, and nor do we intend to do like that in future.
My whole aim is that everybody who's listening in, they get their facts right, so that when they approach you, they're fundamentally clear what they're asking for, and you guys are doing a great thing, because it's an opportunity which is cracked up. Let's be honest about it, with Zomato and Swiggy driving it for so long. And if you're willing to kind of step in, put the pieces together again, put it together in a better manner, I think it bodes well for the cloud kitchen business per se. And I'm talking about the cloud kitchen universe in that sense. So, which is why sort of some of these things to be kind of very clear. Vicky, do we have you back? Oh, wonderful.
Yep,
Great.
I'm back.
We
Can you hear me?
you.
Yeah.
So, Vicky, what's your marketing plan to push your channel partners brands, or are they still going to be dependent? Do you have any?
I mean, well, we do have we definitely want to focus on local area marketing for
Right.
sure. When we look at, traditionally it's been 5 to 7 kilometers delivery area. Now they've increased that, but how long that will stay, I don't know. But just looking at the demographic and looking at targeted marketing within the local area is definitely something that we are working on. We have our own marketing team, and we also, set up an online food court sort of equation which will help drive more order values for our customers as the marketing that we do through that.
Great.
And we want them to be able to grow their marketing outside of just Swiggy and Zomato. In fact, we would like to encourage them to develop their own platforms. We see a lot of brands have that sort of loyalty amongst their consumers. Without naming brands, I can think of at least 2 or 3 which don't even list themselves on Swiggy and Zomato, and they get maybe 30 to 40% of of their business through delivery purely, and all of that through their own channel. So it's just taking that risk, and of course all brands don't have that capacity or capability, because it does come down to the mindset of the senior management. That is that what they want to drive to? Is they want to drive the order volumes through their own platforms, or do they prefer to stay on to the third party aggregators? So and also we do have our in-house team which would advise them on how to, even within Swiggy and Zomato, how to market correctly. It's one thing to spend money over there on Swiggy and Zomato, but it's how do you spend it and what do you spend it on? And we find a lot of the brands that don't necessarily not necessarily spent that sort of time and thought behind actually analyzing that. So we also support them in getting more optimization out of their current spend on their marketing that they're already doing also. While I'm sure Swiggy and Zomato, when they sell their products to the brands, they definitely optimize it from their perspective, but the brand owner has the benefit of looking at both data, Swiggy and Zomato, while Zomato can only look at Zomato data and Swiggy can only look at Swiggy data. So a
Trust
brand
me, they
owner,
look at each other's data also.
I'm sure they do, but you know what I mean. At least
They're
in terms
always asking each other's managers what's
yeah,
up with you.
absolutely. I don't doubt
So-
that at all. I would be surprised if they didn't.
So, another question, Vicky, when you kind of dropped out,
Yeah.
have you? I was asking the others as well. Have you also looked at an option to provide alternate delivery logistics? Totally moving
So,
off Zomato and
100%.
Swiggy.
But the challenge again in that, not so much so for us to provide that facility, is the brands onboarding the orders. Uh, we have talked to third-party logistics support providers
Okay. Okay.
who typically could not do this earlier because restaurants were geographically all over the place. But now, when you have so many brands under one roof, it kind of works for them to station certain amount of riders around the neighborhood, and they charge a fixed fee rather than a percentage. So yes, it works out, and yes, we have the opportunity to provide that service to our brand partners. But I would still say the challenge for them in that would be getting the onboarding the orders itself.
Okay. Of course.
I mean,
Of course.
I heard a rumor that one of the aggregators was considering allowing third-party delivery and just charging 8% or something for discovery and payment gateway, etc. I mean, that's also not a bad way. If these guys go forward with that, if both the aggregators go forward with that, that'll really open up the opportunity for brands to use the platform for discovery, but still execute the delivery themselves at a fixed fee.
Actually, Zomato has always had a.
They have, but they don't dish it out so easily unless you're not a Domino's.
In fact, for the last couple of months, at
They
least
have.
in Delhi NCR, they have been very happy
Yes.
to get what they call on a shared model.
Hybrid model.
Which means hybrid model. Which means that first opportunity, you send your own rider.
Yeah.
And every time there's an order, you have a choice to click on whether you want their rider or
absolutely.
your rider.
So, like I said, once that becomes the norm, which I think is going to over a period of time, then the opportunity for these third-party delivery, the other third-party delivery guys to operate more optimally for the brands will arise. Because right now the challenge would still be, at least in Bombay, so many brands are not listed per se on doing their own delivery. I don't know if that is. I don't know if that is something from the head office or if that's just a technology thing that they're working around. I'm not sure. But I do see that becoming the norm at some point. And yeah. Coming back to your question, I didn't answer about having exclusivity of cuisines within a particular facility. I think what would drive that would maybe more be the price point than the cuisine. Because within Chinese, for example, if you use Chinese as an example, and I give it to 3 different operators, we have, say, 4. There are different operators within different price points. So while we might be able to accommodate multiple, partners, I would look at the differentiation really more price-based than cuisine-based, to be honest with you, because fundamentally, I think that's what drives volumes, right? And the truth between there are brands which have a higher OPV and they do much less deliveries, but it makes sense for them. And there are some brands which have a low OPV, and they need to do at least 100 orders a day when you have a low OPV, which for some brands can be challenging, and for some not so.
Not so. No. My only purpose in asking that question is again for the benefit of brands who are listening to all this. That because that's the biggest worry a lot of brands have when they go to an aggregator kitchen. Is there another competitor in the same cuisine over there?
That doesn't matter really because it's all done online, right? These are virtual restaurants.
Absolutely, but the trade area is the same. The trade area remains the same.
True.
So your visibility, yes, you're not in the same food court in front.
But it doesn't stop anybody from just opening up in the next building, for example, to service the same geography. So you know what I mean. Yeah. So that could well happen that within the same half-kilometer radius, these other 4 brands, anyways, will exist. Whether they exist.
That's question which actually a brand owner asks an aggregator, or will ask even a Swiggy and Zomato.
Yeah.
And sometimes they've run foul of it as well, and sometimes it has worked beautifully.
Okay.
So Vicky, again, for the benefit of listeners, and I'll go back with this question to all 3 of you. Tell us, you are in Bombay right now, correct?
Yes.
And what's your next plans? Is it Bombay, Pune? What is the speed? So that people who are listening in now.
In the next 12 months, we hope to be in 4 cities, 4 to 5 cities, which are Bombay, Pune, Delhi, Bangalore. And when I say Delhi, I include all of NCR.
course.
So
I am a Delhi-based guy, so I can always tell you, Delhi is like 3 cities rolled into one. So
absolutely.
it gives you a lot
Just
of
to say Delhi, yeah,
benefits.
exactly. So just to say Delhi by itself would not be
Correct.
doing justice to the scale of the market that
Correct,
NCR
So
presents.
so just repeating for the benefit of all, you are in Bombay, you plan to go to Pune and Bangalore, Delhi, and
Delhi
one
and Hyderabad.
and Hyderabad. Wonderful. Wonderful. So, Sumit, what about your plans for Food Co-works? Where are you right now, and where all would you be, let's say, 6 months to a year?
Oh, well, right now we are in Mumbai and we are a bootstrap
Okay.
startup, so I wouldn't be very hopeful about the expansion plan
And
right
how many
now.
locations
However,
do you
the
have in
idea is very
Mumbai?
simple. All these 5 cities, we are at 4 different locations in Mumbai and we are expanding.
Already.
So hopefully in the
Okay.
next couple of months, we will have 2 more locations launching up.
Right.
In the meantime, the focus is pretty much on Mumbai right now. However, these 5 cities, which Vicky mentioned, of course, they constitute the majority, almost more than 80% of the online delivery orders right now. So,
Mhm.
of course, Bangalore being the topmost of it. So right now we will be focusing more on Mumbai and Pune area. I mean, realistically speaking. However, the expansion can happen with the infusion of funds. That's not a challenge. So the priorities can definitely change overnight. As of now, we are focusing in Mumbai and Pune. Yes.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Rajiv, I think what I started off by saying, innovation, you are in the thick of it. Marketing, I think you guys all have it kind of lined up, and I think you should be getting a lot of inquiries, I hope, from all this. It's been wonderful talking to all of you. It's wonderful knowing, the kind of you are all into from the thick of battle. You've been through this. You're not kind of testing waters. So I'm sure you'll all do really well. And I wish on behalf of Oddbox and Fast Food Convention, wonderful go ahead and a huge number of cloud kitchens to all of you. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
The
you so
market
much,
is
Ajay.
large enough for all of us and more.
Welcome. Support.
All right, pleasure.
Great.
Absolute pleasure.
All right.